Yo, nephew, hand me that bar stool. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth. You can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. Fresh and clean.
Welcome to 21st and Prime. Jamie Dukes, my man Rone. As you can see, guys, I'm playing a home game today. Okay. I'm in Canton, Texas. You know I reside in 3 cantons: Canton, Texas, Canton, Mississippi, and Canton, Ohio.
Wow.
So right now, I'm in Canton, Texas, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Sponsored by Heineken 0.0, fellas. I'm loving that as well.
We need Heineken 0.0, fellas. I went on a friend of mine's bachelor party this weekend, and over 4 days, I put on 11.5 pounds.
How?
I'm looking husky. Too many beers, and not the light kind, and too much meat, too many burgers, chicken, steaks. It was all that. 4 days. So I need to switch to the Heineken 0.0 for a little bit, get lean. I need to lean up like you, coach. You're looking real lean.
Well, let me give you a secret, Ron. Let me give you a secret that I tell a lot of my friends. I've seen a lot of fat joggers in my life. I've never seen a fat sprinter. So if you want to lean up expeditiously, run. You got to run.
Run fast.
You got to run fast. But what if you can't run fast anymore?
Don't jog. Do sprints.
But what if you can't sprint anymore? What does old fashioned
get on the elliptical or get on the treadmill? If you can't run. Get on the elliptical and go. Hit it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I run a mile hard as I can probably 5 days out of 7 on the elliptical. I go hard. And I like it.
See, I'm a little different because I walk 5 days. I walk 5 miles 4 to 5 days a week.
That's good.
But I can't, I do kind of the fake run. And by the way, Prime, I just got to thank you. You don't even know this. So you have to see, like, if you look at Rone, like some of the old footage of Prime running around the stadium before the games, that's my shuffle.
Yeah.
It's my shuffle because you don't bend the knees.
True.
You don't bend the hip. You just move the legs and you lift up high enough and you just warm that thing up. That's my run. That's been my jog for 10 years, man, now that I'm old. So thank you for that play.
That is, you put them on.
Guys, I learned a valuable lesson. I went on vacation with my friends Youngs and my son Shiloh. Shador was going on vacation with me, but one of his friends didn't have the passport, so he went on to Puerto Rico. I said, son, you're really living a good life when you're a college kid and you go to Puerto Rico and your dad goes, elsewhere. But I learned a valuable lesson on vacation. I'm not a vacation guy. I'm not. Like, I have a passport. I've only used it 3 times in my whole life. That's it. Now, what I learned on vacation is I get bored. I got like a 2-day limit. Then I'm ready to get back home because I like to work. I like to make stuff happen. I like to move something, shake something. I like to plug in. So then I start thinking, why am I paying for somebody else's vacation? Meaning like somebody, I'm in a home or condo or something or a house that someone else owns and I'm helping them pay the mortgage on. Why am I doing that when everything I want, everything in life I need is at the crib? Why am I vacationing from my vacation? So when I hit my gates, I felt better coming home than I did going on vacation. So I think we should work our butts off as we do. But home should be your escape, shouldn't it? Not this country or this beach or this place. Shouldn't home be your paradise? Shouldn't home be your escape? Shouldn't home be your Selah? Isn't that what home is for? Dorothy said it best on The Wizard of Oz, and she said it multiple times. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And I got to give a love for that because it ain't. So I think I'm done with the vacations. I'm done.
Jamie, you're shaking your head no.
So, Coach, what you have to do, though, is you can't appreciate home until you go, is one thing. You know, you I think are different in that. So you have 3 homes as you started this conversation with. 2 of them are over 10,000 square feet, one with a barn. Matter of fact, everyone got a barn. So that's a little different than the rank and file other person who might not be in, you know, minimum of 10,000 plus in your guest home. It's just different. Your prime's perspective on vacation and home.
But
ahead.
there are people who don't necessarily have the 10,000 square foot home that I know feel exactly the same as Coach.
Sure. Preach, Rone. Preach, Rone.
There's homebodies. There's people who have maybe anxiety about being in new places. They're on the other side of the world, and then they start feeling a little bit weird about it. Or there's people who just love the work. They feel restlessness when they try to rest. They're sitting by the pool, and it's like, I should be doing this. Or they have something on their mind that they've been working on. But that's you, Coach, for sure. But the only thing that keeps me different from Dorothy is that I want to see Oz. I'm interested in seeing Oz. I want to go all over the place, and I just want to see what they're doing out there. I'm just curious about how big the world is.
I don't care. I don't care what nobody else doing. As long as I'm straight, I'm straight.
But I think that's the point that you're making, Coach. That is the key point. Is that, and we've talked about this many times, everybody's there is what? Different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's there is different. And that's the beauty of it. Because see, like I said, I'm not saying there's something wrong with, I think home should be paradise. I'm a firm believer in Rehoboth being the paradise. However, I also take the charge of, and I don't like to be gone more than 3 days myself. I like the action. I got to get back into the action. I'm with you on that. But, but see, for me, I can work remotely. I can act like I'm interested. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't want to come off privileged, and I don't want to come off with a touch of arrogance. I don't want to come off that way. All I'm saying is,
you care about kids, so it don't matter.
Yes, but all I'm saying is, when we work our butts off like we do, you, Rone, everybody watching this right now and listening to this, shouldn't we make home our escape? When we get finished fighting the country and fighting the world, shouldn't we, when we open the door of the condo, the apartment, or the home,
you can't.
Shouldn't it be that?
It can't be that way. In most cases,
why can't it? You can't speak for everybody.
No, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm saying here's what happens with everybody. See, in other words, again, you have the privilege or luxury of you have enough space where nobody.
No, it ain't about space.
No, it is.
Jamie, it ain't about space.
It is because if you got, but if you've got but it is about space too, because you can't have you can't have the feeling if you got 4 kids living in a 3,000 or 2,000 square foot home. You can't have the space and the peace because the one thing that you love about
those kids are part of my peace. I can. Like my kids are part of my peace. My baby.
Could you live in 4,000 square feet with those children?
But it ain't just dog. I ain't never been like that. It ain't just happened to me. I started off by saying I ain't been nowhere. I've been to maybe 3 places with a passport in my life. I don't care like that. I've never been one to spin the globe and point and say, I want to go there. No, I don't.
Right.
I think that one of the lessons that maybe we could take away is like to make your kids your peace. And I think that some people like their kids are, you don't think so? No, Jamie?
It don't work that way. Because see, the thing about parenting, you're going to figure this out. Kids can't be your peace because kids are your work. That dude over there, what I'm doing, I'm forging my child to be ready for the world. I'm forging him. There can't be no peace if you're forging. You got to constantly stay on them till they get where they need to be. That's why home is difficult. And that's why I'm saying, there's a luxury that Dion has in his own individual life is that he's had a lot of space. You know what I'm saying? But he's had to forge. So you can't be forging and then rest and chill. I just don't see it working like that.
But I also think that some people just don't have the like gene in them or like the itch to travel. But I think that I definitely have that itch. I just want to know what the fuck they're doing over there. Like, what are they doing in Thailand? Like, what are they doing in Czechoslovakia?
The same thing you doing.
Now, here's what brings up a scary story. So I don't know if you saw in the news recently, last week, terrible story. A U.S. citizen, a female former soldier, was killed in Russia. Okay, she loved Russia, and so somehow, and then the last thing they have, you see on the news, is that she's calling her mother saying, I'm with someone I don't know, and this may be the last time I talk to you. And I'm saying that to say, Rone, that I'm afraid of the Explorer. I'm not Dora the Explorer. I'm trying to go somewhere safe. I'm not trying, like, if I go to, some of these places, PR, DR, so on and so forth, I'm not leaving the complex. I don't have to go to the club. I ain't doing none of that because I'm trying to live as long as I can live, and I don't need to add any extra. If I survive Magic City and the stuff that went on there, I ain't got to do nothing else.
Hey, be careful putting your mouth on Magic City. I'm just saying
that time.
I'm just saying, just be careful with. This brings me to another point. I had a great conversation with Devin Hester, future Hall of Famer, 100 greatest players ever. I love him to life. I just get a kick out of seeing him on the gram with his sons and their athletes and all his kids. They're athletes, and he's coaching and he's all in it. And he reminds me of myself way back when. And I called him to encourage him, to motivate him, and to tell him, I saw your son with number 21 on. Tell me how that happened, because I know, he's going to have that 4 on. So he's breaking it down and telling me how much fun and how much excitement, and he's going through some of the same tribulations with youth sports as I did. And then we got to the real conversation. Mm-hmm. I said, Devin, I want you to be careful with this one thing. We can't, and James, you know where I'm going. We can't expect a dog when we're raising cats. What I mean by this, Ron, is when you have your little Rones, okay, oftentimes we don't want our kids to deal with the tribulations and troubles and trials that we once dealt with. So we want to build a fortress and a hedge of protection around them to guide them and lead them and be their navigational system, with them not having to go through the trappings and the brutality of life that we did, but that made us who we are. So we want a dog, but we raising a cat. A cat stays in the home. A cat has his litter box. A cat has his canned food. A cat has everything. A dog, we just let him go do whatever he gonna do. Come back when you want to. I ain't really tripping. A dog is a dog. But we raising cats expecting them to be a dog. So I say, Devin, just make sure you put them kids somewhere within the hood so they can develop some hood tendencies.
So are there ever cats that think they're dogs?
Oh, yeah. Until they run against a dog. A cat can play like he's a dog all day long until he come up against a dog and realizing, I'm a cat.
And to follow along with that, Ron, think about this too. Cats have a lot of athletic ability too.
Yes.
They are very nimble, very spry. They all have 4 legs, And so they had, and so conversation we had last week, I'm sure we were talking about a couple of cats in there. I ain't calling no names out with that NBA situation, but there's some cats that got let into the room because the dogs want to know who let the cat in.
That's right. That's right. And you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And I remember taking my kids to the other side of town because I never wanted them to run up in the hood test and they had their cards. I never wanted that to happen. Never wanted that to happen, Ron. And that's something that a parent is you fearful of. Like, man, is my kid gonna be tough? Is he gonna be sound? Is he gonna have that it, or she gonna have that it? And you gotta make sure. You can't seclude them from everything and still want them, because we want them not to deal with what we dealt with, but we want a little bit of us in them. And the reason we are who we are because of what we dealt with.
So you want them to be able to deal with it, but you don't want them to have to deal with it. You want it to be industrialized with the tools if they ever come across that.
Right.
But my question is, how do you make sure that they don't like I was listening to $1 Million Worth of Game, another great podcast on the Barstool Network this past week.
Give me Wallow. What's up, baby? Just talked to me yesterday.
But they were talking about artists who are rappers who grew up, as you would put it, as cats. But then for the music world, they want to start carrying something or acting a certain way around somebody. They want to act like a dog. How do you make sure that these people don't like fetishize that lifestyle? You want to show them that lifestyle, but you also don't want them to fully immerse themselves. So how do you keep?
Yeah, you just want those qualifications. You just want, it's like an MMA fight. He don't have to fight, but you just want to look and see that ear.
The cauliflower.
They look and they see, hey man, don't mess with that. Don't do that. No,
no. That brings another situation just kind of comes to mind about dogs and cats. T-Pain saw a story where he went into a depression for 4 years because Usher talked about him using auto-tunes. Ron, how was that? What is that?
Yeah, I think it's tough because, I mean, there were a lot of people talking about T-Pain at that time. I know Jay-Z had a lyric. He said, get back to rapping, you're T-Paining too much. He was talking about everybody T-Paining too much. But T-Pain developed that auto-tune sound in a way that made it really popular. But at the same time, I think that sounds change in music. And so you will wind up not being popular, and it won't be your fault. It's just because the entire consciousness of what people like to listen to has shifted to something else. So I don't love that he's putting it on Usher. I think that it's just like the world changed from loving auto-tune to moving on to a different genre.
But it goes back to where Coach started, though. This is a cat and dog conversation because, as you said, you're a rapper, you're this, that, and the other. How can someone hurt your feelings? I don't know how my feelings could be hurt to where I'm thrown into a state of depression because something Usher said.
Well, the thing about it, Jay, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I'm going to tell you why you got to be careful.
Why?
Because when people start throwing up that mental health flag, you got to be careful.
No. Mental health is real. My question is, but it still goes back. I don't disagree with that. I'm 1,000% with you. I'm still stating you're correct.
What I'm saying is, hear me clearly. What I'm saying is, we don't know where to go with this because if someone gets threatened, if someone gets insecure, if someone feels like they've been attacked, sometimes they throw up that mental health flag so you can back off. And we got to be careful with that. We can't use or abuse, not saying that he's doing that, but some people do. And we got to be careful with throwing up that flag so people could back off. Sometimes it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, you can't really blame. So, I mean, I understand that mental health is real, but I also agree that it's like this unquantifiable thing that some people will like kind of appropriate and use for their own gain. And there's no way to tell who's this level of depressed or that level of depressed. But it also can be like a little bit of a dirty trick to say like this person made me depressed. It's also
it has happened before. My still question in on it has to do with I don't understand how one person could be a catalyst. I can see a circumstance. Ricky Martin, we talked about this on a Barbara Walters interview. He said he was in depression for 20 years because he had to come. He felt he was forced to come out before he was ready to come out. And so I've just always been kind of curious how someone else could force this to happen to you. That's my point.
Everybody that's out front ain't a leader, dog.
I understand.
Just because you out front, that don't mean you lead. Mm-hmm. Just because you out front and you got weight on you from the country, that don't mean you strong. That don't mean that. That just means you have a gift. And oftentimes people think just because you have a gift and you're exercising your gift in its totality, that you're Superman. No. You just as fragile as anyone else. You're not built like that. And these guys we're talking about, they ain't built like that, Jay. It is what it is.
I also think that sometimes when someone experiences some success, they try to define themselves with the moment that's going on. So it's like, I'm a top artist right now, so I'm just a top artist, period. And that's how I start to see myself. And when they start to lose that artificial identity that they've put on themselves, that's when they go into this depression when they're like, wait, I'm not a top artist anymore. The chart is saying I'm not a top artist. They put all of their weight in like record sales, the charts, how things appear externally. And then you set yourself up for this low, this valley, rather than having your self-worth built in something that you know that you can handle or that you're in charge of. He put it in something else, something artificial, and then you're in a position where it can get taken away from you. And it did get taken away from him.
And you got to understand, when you first, you're going to be attacked. When you're the forerunner, they're going to shoot at you. One thing, and I don't want to sound crazy, but it's an honor to have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a wonderful honor. But did it make me feel no better than I already felt? Like, if you wouldn't have called my name on that initial night, cool. You don't have to tell me I'm that dude, because I told me I was that dude. It just took y'all years later to catch on to what I told you years prior. I don't need that. That's just me. I don't need you to validate that I'm that dude.
But that's
that. My mirror tells me that. My actions tell me that. My game tells me that. My swagger tells me that. My responses tell me I'm that dude. So whatever you got to say or your opinion, I'm good. How can the opinion of a fool be the opinion of you? I'm not going to let my critics, who have critics, criticize me.
So are you calling Usher a fool in this analogy? I know you're not. My point is this. What I don't understand
who is Usher to have it to make me feel a certain way?
Who is anybody? That's my point. If that's like you said, you ain't gonna hold it up no more because somebody didn't like it. That's what I didn't understand. Because like you said, I know T-Pain as Mr. Auto-Tunes, not as disrespect. That was his thing.
But that's your thing.
That's his thing. So why are you running from your thing? That's what bothers me. How can Usher run you from your
Because
thing?
he wasn't confident of his thing, and he held this person to a higher esteem. So when that person talked down on him, that'd be like one of the forefront cornerbacks of me gonna criticize me and tell me something. I say, you know what, man, he really made me. I don't care. I can care less. Prime, don't hold it up no. Man, I've been holding that thing up since 74. This ain't gonna stop. You just put me on TV holding this thing up. I've been holding this thing up in Fort Myers, Florida, hand behind the head, high stepping since 74.
Let's go. And honestly, it's not like Usher's never been criticized. Like, just because he's doing the criticizing maybe in this situation, he's been through his rounds of criticism as well. He's not infallible. The people at the top who you might be putting so much weight in their opinions, they're getting criticized too. Criticism is going to come with all of this, and it's how you weather it. And I understand that mental health can be a real thing, but I also like that you can't necessarily put it on, or it's a better mental practice to not put it on someone else and to be able to hold it all, because when it's bad, you'll only have yourself. And so when it's good, you should only have yourself as well.
What we're living in now, before we go to the next subject, what we're living in now, and this is Profile. I want you to turn your radios up, TVs, whatever you got, whatever you listen to this on your phone, turn it up. What we're living in now is a Ralph Tresvant society. Yeah. What I mean by that, it's a man with sensitivity. Everybody's sensitive about everything. Everybody's sensitive about something. Every darn body is sensitive in our country right now, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If we're gonna continue like this, we need to do away with social media, because
they're gonna do away with everything.
We need to do away with all that.
You have to do away with the news.
I wish we had a news station where the news anchors and reporters could say what they really feel. Because, I was about to get into that one time, and they told me, well, you can't be opinionated, Mr. Sanders. You just got to report the news. So I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't report the news without my feelings because I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that. I can't do it.
Tell me how you feel about Tyronn Lue, what he's doing.
Tyronn Lue is playing some ball, coaching his butt off. I'm sorry, he's coaching his butt off. All of them are coaching their butts off. I can't esteem one higher than the other because you're saying Tyronn Lue is coaching his butt off, but is he really coaching his butt off?
Yeah, I mean, Monty Williams, the Suns coach, is coaching his butt off too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If Tyronn Lue is coaching his butt off, he must be really coaching his whole back off because he's doing better.
What about Nate McMillan?
All of them are doing great. Not only that, but now we have a couple more brothers just got hired, and folks still ain't happy. Like, what's going on, man? When are we ever just gonna be happy? Why we always gotta find wrong when right is a viable option?
Does it seem like what are people upset about? Are they there? I know at the offseason people were upset about Steve Nash, and Steve Nash wound up not going to the conference finals. So I don't know if there's validity or not to that criticism. But do you think that people just that they don't want white dudes as basketball coaches, or what are people upset about?
I have no idea. Like, it's no one that's truly qualified. Like, even if it's a brother that if you don't get the job, it was this. If you do get the job, it's that. It's like no one's ever satisfied. The white folks, the black folks, the Hispanic folks, the Asian folks, all the folks. Somebody's always gonna find something, and we got to understand where we are as a country.
I know that Dame Lillard right now, he's in talks with the Portland organization because he wanted them to run the coaches by him. I think that he wanted Chauncey Billups or Jason Kidd as their head coach. Do you think players like playing for people who were players better?
I think that what happens is it's better because you can relate. They can relate more than folks that have not been. But first of all, with the NBA, there's no racism issues with the NBA with hiring a coach.
They got to stop that. The NBA got to stop that. Ain't no racism. They got to stop that.
Is it the NBA or is it people outside, trying to force the NBA into a standard? And again, okay, so if 90% of the league is black, I think there's some that are saying that 90% of the coaches should be black. I'm not one who subscribes to that. Right. But at the same time, what I've always liked and appreciated about the NBA is they've always given minority coaches opportunity.
Not only minority, Jamie, they give former players.
And former players particularly.
That's what I love.
The NBA is the best.
They're the leaders in that. They're the leaders in that. See, our game, Ron, they want you to go and be a GA and go get donuts and go get coffee and run around and open all the doors and all this for 10 years before you really get a legitimate shot. They want you to pay your dues. Well, I thought when I played for 14, I was paying my dues. That's what I thought. I thought when me and the defensive coordinators were sitting in the room going through the game plans, I was paying my dues. I thought when I was sitting up there getting injections in my hamstrings, knees, thighs, butt, hips, everything, I was paying my dues. That's what I thought. But that wasn't the case.
So do you think that an NFL player or a former NFL player could come in and have success right away, like how Steve Kerr, for example, had coaching success in his first couple of years?
Given opportunity, let me tell you this. I guarantee you, if Peyton Manning wanted to, he could be a head coach right now. Why would you say that, Pratt? Well, the IQ, FBI, the football intelligence, he has that. He was great on the field. He's a great spokesman, articulate person for the position. And I feel like guys would want to play for him. Why is that different than a Ray Lewis, Ed Reed? It's the same to me, but in actuality, it's not. But I guarantee you, if Tom Brady retired,
why is it not, Coach? What are you saying?
The day Tom Brady retired, if he wanted to be a head coach, I'm pretty sure if he really wanted to push that envelope, he could do such.
And Peyton, okay.
What about Rodney Peete? What if he wanted to be?
Where do you get Rodney Peete from? Rodney Peete ain't bothering nobody wrong. Rodney Peete is in California. As a matter of fact, no, he ain't. He's on the yacht with Magic somewhere right now in another country. Why are you bring Rodney Peete into this wrong? Wrong, that ain't right. That ain't even. I said Peyton Manning
Right.
and Tom Brady, and you throw out Rodney Peterson.
But wait a minute. But why can't Red Reed? Wait, you said Peyton Manning and Tom could. Why can't Ed and Ray? Maybe I didn't.
That's my question. Is it a quarterback thing or is it a black and white thing? Say no more. Say no more.
Boy, stop.
Say no more. But if we're on the NBA, earlier this week, Scottie Pippen was talking.
Please. I'm gonna adjust this air. Keep talking.
Scottie Pippen has been jumping out the window again and again and again. He can't stop talking about current NBA players. He's talking shit about Ben Simmons. He's talking shit about everybody. But Scottie Pippen called Phil Jackson a racist this week. He said it was because Phil let Tony Kukoc take the last shot against the Knicks. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why is he saying this? Is it possible that it's true? Because Phil seems like the Zen master. He seems pretty far from being a racist, a pretty socially conscious dude. Am I just missing it? Am I just missing what I'm seeing? Why now?
Jamie, now you don't want to jump, huh? You don't want to jump out of that one. You want me to jump for you? I'm trying to let you jump.
Okay, well, first of all, you have to understand there's always the genre of player, and I think it's a gene that happens to great sidekicks. Sometimes you have that person who's always a wild hair who's always shooting, and they're always shooting. And they're shooting because they want to be heard. They're shooting because the shows and the things that they do, they need that. They need to shoot. See, Phil Jackson doesn't need to shoot. Phil Jackson can stand on his body of work.
Scottie Pippen can stand on his body of work.
Not in that area he can.
Scottie Pippen was great. Scottie Pippen was
no. He can't stand on the issue of all the inclusiveness that Phil has worked with and his history. That's what I'm saying. Of course, they're both Hall of Fame, but you want to talk about the GOAT though of basketball coaches is Phil Jackson. There is no peer for Phil Jackson as the GOAT. Scottie's one of 50, but the GOAT of coaching. And then the GOAT of humanity, whether you agree with his humanity or whatever, his whole body of work has been about being nice to people, being respectful to people, So again, Scottie can have an opinion, but we've seen this out of Scottie.
You saying Scottie lying?
No,
I seen a meme on social today saying Scottie's tripping. It had tripping on the back of his jersey. It says Scottie tripping.
But not lying. Not lying, he's tripping. I can't say that he's lying because I don't know. He may have had a personal experience with Phil that he may have perceived as racism, but it could have been bias too, because he felt that Kukoc's J was wetter than the slingshot power forward Scottie Pippen, who had a nice no arch on his jumper. I don't know.
I got a different take on that last shot. Okay. The last shot, Scottie has sat as the backup dancer for Michael Jordan for a multitude of years. Now, finally, he's the doorknob. He get his turn. And lo and behold, the moment that he just knew it was going to come to him, they drew it up for someone else. It could have been very strategic where, okay, we know they're going to double you. They're going to come off here and Kukoc going to come right here, going to get it. We're going to drop the three. Sad thing about it, he hit it. He hit the three. He hit the three and won. That's the sad thing. That didn't make it.
That's not the sad thing. That's the truth.
That didn't make it no better.
That's
but
the truth.
I understand. I don't condone, but I do understand Scottie's mind in that huddle. Said, I've been Robin. I've been Tonto. Laverne and Shirley. I've been Laverne. I've been all these side people, all these years, the side person, all these years, and it's my turn. And you ain't letting me get my turn. So I understand him acting out. It just happened to be in front of him.
And you're a racist now. Because you didn't do that, you're racist.
But wait a second, though. But wait a second. Steve Kerr wound up taking a last shot for the Bulls. John Paxson wound up taking a last
but it
shot.
wasn't drawn up like that. They kicked around to him. That's the difference, bro. It wasn't drawn up like they kicked around to him. The initial play call.
Slow that down. I think he slow that down about drawing it up. Just go back through that process.
Rone, this play was drawn up for Kukoc. That play wasn't drawn up for Steve Kerr. He was the third option that it happened to come down that way. James saying fourth option.
Might have been Rodman.
Yeah, because we definitely were gonna pass the ball to Rodman. Okay, we ain't passing the ball to Rodman. That ain't gonna happen. So I do understand, but I don't condone. But it's like, why now? That's my thought process with Scottie. Why now, dog?
Wait. No, Coach, there's two things.
But give it to me.
No, there's two things. Wait a minute. He could have said, I think Phil Jackson's a fool for not letting me take that last shot. A fool. He could have drawn 7 other different words. He strategically grabbed racist for his purpose to get the headline. He could have said anything.
Why now? You're not answering that. Why now, guys?
I got an idea. I think that he has a new alcohol brand, and I think that he's trying to get headlines. I heard.
Is it an alcohol brand? Is it a book? What is it?
It has to be something like that. But
all we're saying is it's something. You don't just roll over now after all these years.
No, it's cyclical. This is just the next chapter of the book. If you look at Scottie's history, Scottie got 2 pop-offs every year. Every single year, he got something to say.
Yeah, Jay, I understand if you was on television. I ain't seen Scottie on the tube in a minute. So I'm just saying, yeah. If you're in our profession, and you ain't making a lot of noise, you're gonna jump something off a couple times a year to make sure you still got that hit, got that out that you can still stir it up a little bit. But why now? Out of all these things, like
here it is.
My guy Buck was telling me, "Hey man, did you hear what Scottie said?" So I had to go Google. He's like, "Man, Scottie seemed like he ain't had no friends on the team. Like, was him and Jordan like that?" I say, "No, not really. I know that. I think everybody who in the circle know that. But why now, dog?"
June 25th, Scottie Pippen joins forces to bring a new 5-year aged bourbon whiskey called Digits. He's got a new alcohol out. He wants to be in the headlines.
Yeah, but is he drinking the alcohol too soon? Like, is he? The alcohol must got some kick to it. The alcohol got some kick to it because it's a truth serum.
If it makes me start saying stuff like that, I might have to get some of this Digit Scottie Pippen whiskey. Everybody in my life is about to find out how
speaking of that black rifle hit right now. This is that black rifle.
That black rifle, boy.
Yeah, you're getting deep on that black rifle. You need some of that black rifle.
I'm praying for Scottie, man. I really am, because I think Scottie's a great dude. Yeah. I don't like what I see. And I don't like what I see. I mean, he's being honest, he's being forthright, he's telling his truth. But I just wish he put it in another suit.
Yeah, he's being, the way I'd call it, he's being a little bit shady. And not in the good way, because the good way is the Shady Rays way. That's the good way to be shady. The Scottie Pippen way, that's a different way.
That's brilliant, Rome.
But the shadiness, the Shady Rays, that's a different kind of shady. And that's the kind that everybody needs in their life, because that's high quality shades for far less than any of the expensive brands. It's one of the best warranties in sunglasses history. They'll replace it if they're lost or broken. They have a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. And plus, they're giving 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every single order. We got to give it up for the good folks over at Shady Rays. They've donated over 15 million meals to date. Wow. Yeah, so 21st and Prime, we're linking up with brands that are doing good things for people. They've got a good product, and they're great people, and they stand behind that product. So if anybody has a problem, they're throwing the profit out the window, and they're doing what it takes to get it right. And listeners can get 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com using code PRIME, PRIME, buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for $48. Redeem it only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
You know what? I took them on vacation with me, and they're nice.
The Shady Rays?
I'm about, as soon as I get finished with
You
this.
get your Shady Rays, Rome?
I need to get my Shady
I need
Rays.
to get mine too. We got to talk to you.
Yeah, I got mine. I got
to talk to my agent. Ron, hang on.
Who does all that, but I got mine.
Ron, I got to call my agent. Talk to my agent.
Call him up,
I got mine. Just one.
Ron, hang on. I got to talk to my agent about mine. Hey, look here, boss. Can I get my glasses, boss? Can you talk to them, boss? Is that all right?
Yeah, Pippen got glasses. We got Pippen glasses.
Yeah. So real quick, there's a couple things I want to hit real quick. We have some serious topics, but Fast and Furious 9. They got John Cena in the franchise. You ever watched any of the Fast and Furious, Coach?
Yeah, I think I stopped after 4.
Did you?
Yeah.
So the question became, Ron, this is for you, Ron.
Okay.
Now, I've enjoyed actually all the 9, and I didn't hit the 9 until later on. I mean, I watched Fast and Furious 1 about 6 years ago, and it's 20 years in, but finally sitting around, me and my son, we finally got into it. So what is the best movie franchise that's out there? Xfinity Wars? Is it the Star Wars trilogies and the 1700 trilogy? I thought trilogy was 3. But it's 1,700 Star Wars movies, which I've watched them all. Who's got the best franchise? Is it Fridays, Coach?
Ooh. Cube?
Penitentiary. I think Penitentiary has
You're going to hell.
Too sweet.
You're going to hell.
Leon Isaac Kennedy. I love you. I appreciate you. Rome, trust me on this one.
Okay.
Penitentiary is the best franchise.
I never watched Penitentiary.
The 5 Heartbeats should have done a sequel. The 5 Heartbeats, these are my, see, Ron, I like hood movies. I like ghetto movies. I like, not that they're ghetto or hood, but they are. I'm just trying to clean up a little bit. I'm Coach Pratt too. But I think Penitentiary had the best franchise, James. I'm sorry.
How many were there?
Put me on. I'll watch it.
What'd you say, James?
How many penitentiaries were there?
I think there were 3.
What is it? What's it about?
Superfly has Superfly TNT. Tamed nothing to it.
Right.
Tamed nothing to it?
Penitentiary is Orange is the New Black 30 years ago. That's what it was. But it was the male version of Orange is the New Black, and they was getting it in. And then there's a legendary video. Kim Kardashian being famous for that video, right? Originally 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
The first precursor of that was actually Leon Kennedy and his wife at the time. Jane Kennedy. Yeah, Jane was this big Amazon. Imagine Tyra Banks, I guess, is probably the best.
Jane Kennedy was she was that girl, Rome.
Amazon.
And she was on was it CBS, NBC? One of the initials. She was a broadcaster on one of the initials that did sports.
CBS.
Beauty queen. She won the Miss America, right?
Something she didn't win it, but she was in
it.
Yes.
The thing about it, if you get on stage for us back then, you won. She won. She won that thing. Black folks getting on stage back then, she won. So she was that. And she hooked up with Leon Isaac Kennedy and
they did a little video. And
I think Jamie, stop, man. Jamie, stop, dog. Stop, man.
It's right here.
Jamie, stop, dog.
Somewhere.
Jamie, on your arm? Not your arm, Jamie.
No. You got to go watch it. No.
Jamie, stop, man.
He might have got an appendage up in there
Jamie, stop, man.
You know how you seen him do the dunk and they hold the thing up in there?
The Vince Carter? The whole arm in the ring?
That's how you do Vince Carter in that thing.
You did do a Vince Carter.
Jamie.
You're going to hell. You're going to hell right now for that.
I guess I have to watch it. I guess I gotta watch it. I don't know. I was gonna say James Bond. I was gonna go with James Bond.
Wrong. He was a little dude too, so he hung like this, wrong.
The entire arm in the ring.
Isaac Kennedy was before his time, wrong.
Spud Webb dunking like Vince Carter.
He produced that thing too.
Yeah, he held that thing, man.
There, he did it all. Yeah, I was gonna say James Bond for best movie franchises. I like a nice James Bond movie. You know what I mean?
Which one? Okay, so rank the James Bond. All right.
Ooh.
Now I like the Bonds now.
Yeah.
I like the Bonds.
I like this last dude a whole lot.
Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
I like all of them.
I do too. I do. Roger Moore, I liked him. He was smooth. I even like soft Pierce Bronson.
Yeah, I like all them, dog.
Yeah,
Sean Connery, I think, was the best though.
Sean Connery.
Sean was the gangster with it. He had the complete game. The looks. He was that. He didn't care what the women. I mean, he just.
James Bond was like a well-skilled Hugh Hefner.
Yes.
That's who James Bond was.
Hugh Hefner,
was a skilled Hugh Hefner.
Saved the world, though. He did that little thing. Well, I guess Hugh kind of saved the world with Playboy. So, okay, you could say that too. Okay, if you want to go there.
Have you seen the Hugh Hefner documentary?
I haven't yet, no.
Jamie, see it. You got to see it.
What is it on? What's it on?
Something. I don't even know what it's on, but it's like he's narrating it.
You mentioned that.
You got to see it, Ron. You got to see it. Different appreciation for Hugh Hefner.
Why? What were your takeaways from it? What did you appreciate?
He was brilliant.
Brilliant.
And way ahead of the game and his thought process. And what he endured in even building it was unbelievable. They even talked about showed you how they came up with the logo, the name, Playboy, everything.
I heard that he worked at Esquire and he wanted a $5 raise, and they said, "You're not getting the raise," and so he said, "All right, I'll start Playboy then." Yeah,
well, out of the magazine, but it came to be Playboy. And the name, they stumbled up on the name. It was a brilliant documentary. Brilliant.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Larry Flint's story is pretty intriguing too.
They got one of those too.
Larry Flint is
he was the antithesis, right?
Yes. Yeah. He got shot, I think he was, or something like that. And but Larry, he was totally the antithesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good word.
I try to say it right.
You've been reading, Coach.
Well, Coach, we're gonna close this one out. We got to close this one out, Coach. There's too much going on. There's a lot of stuff we missed this week.
Scotty's calling. He said he want to contact you.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, how should he get it?
Send me some of that. Let me talk to my agent again. Look, can you get Scotty to send me
digits? It's called digits.
I'm still waiting on Q stuff too, product. But can you? Okay, thank you. Yeah. So you see how my agent ignores me? That's going to do it for this edition of 21st and Prime. Remember, swipe up, grab this. Look at this.
Beautiful shirt. Beautiful
shirt.
Swag,
man.
Just like me.
Look at that. We'll catch you next time.